Alright folks, let's take a minute to look at this Templar Customs Fast Rail. As you can see, heavily machined aluminum. Good looking piece of kit. Obviously free float. This is what comes with it. It actually comes with a wrench. A couple interesting points of note is the way that these mount is pretty different from what you would see from a normal mount, where you would have the barrel nut threaded on the exterior and basically the rail would thread to that. This uses more of a clamp type system where you have this machine part that still acts as your barrel nut. And another thing that's kind of handy is they have it machined so you can use a castle nut wrench if you so choose. And the rail then comes on top of this and intersects with some of these machine portions in the rail, and it really creates a solid mount. I've actually seen some videos from one of my friends out there, Mr. Surgical Precision, as well as Jedi Magic, where you could see this rail mounted on a 50 Beowulf full auto, where the barrel nut's basically just put on hand tight, and he beats the bejesus out of the rail with a hammer to see if it can come loose, and it doesn't. I mean, rock solid. Really good machining work, good looking parts. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one installed, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as we go. So here we're looking at the rifle. We're gonna go ahead and install the Templar Customs barrel nut. Again, you can get kind of a good look on what's going on in there. You're threaded. Then you have this raised machine portion that'll actually intercept with the barrel, and that's what we're going to torque. And that's going to be your contact face to get pressure onto that barrel. So this pretty simply just slides on. Now another thing that's interesting about this mount versus what you would see in a normal mount is you don't have to index the gas tube through the barrel nut. The barrel nut is independent of the gas tube interface into the receiver, which is really kind of handy. That's pretty cool, because that's really one of the biggest things you run into when trying to do a free float, is getting the right torque specs as well as indexing everything properly. So at this point, we're just going to start that new barrel nut onto the receiver and get that where it needs to go, and we'll throw some torque on it and we'll be ready to rumble. So here what I'm going to do is put on just a little bit of blue Loctite, not too much. And go ahead and get this hand tight, and you'll feel it seat onto that barrel. And again, Templar supplies you with a new castle nut wrench. It looks like it's out of 3/16 steel. If you don't already have like an AR multi-tool, this is kind of handy. Has the cutouts for your torque wrenches. So let's give it a whirl with my torque wrench and get this bad boy in place. Alright guys, so I got my torque wrench on, and we're going to run this up to 35 foot-pounds. Obviously you'd want to do this in a vise. I don't want to take this down into the other shop, so just for sake of showing you, you run it up to 35 foot-pounds and you're done. Okay, so we got our barrel nut on. We've got it torqued to 35 pounds with a little bit of Loctite. We're going to go ahead and install our gas tube now, and then it'll be time to get the rail on. Alright, so now that we have our barrel nut on, we're going to go ahead and install our gas tube and gas block. Again, really cool how this is set up so you don't have to index your gas tube with it. That's makes your job a lot easier. So we'll go ahead and get the gas block, gas tube in place. Get everything indexed right. We'll go ahead and tighten that up, put a little Loctite on those set screws. Alright folks, now that we have our gas block installed, we can go ahead and install the rail. Again, what I was talking about before, really interesting mount, how it slips over this barrel nut and basically clamps to the barrel nut versus being threaded on. Seems much more secure. You don't have to index your gas tube. And really how that works is on this side you can see two clamping bolts here, and you also have a jacking bolt on the other side. What the jacking bolt allows you to do is force the rail to spread open for install. So hopefully you can see as we tighten that up, that's actually forcing the rail open, and that's going to allow it to slip over the barrel nut and fit flush against the upper receiver. So let's see if we have enough there to get her to slip through. So let's go ahead and fit the rail onto the gun. Perfect. You see how we have a very tight fit to the receiver. We'll go ahead and get this turned over and we'll snug her down. So at this point we can go back to the jacking bolt that we already discussed. We'll loosen that up, and that'll allow this rail to contract and start clamping itself onto the barrel nut. And you can almost instantly feel how it snugs up. And then basically we just have these two keeper bolts, and that tightens everything up. So we'll just get these hand tight, and we'll take a peek and see how everything looks. But this, you know, just feels like a rock solid mount. I'm really impressed with how it feels. I mean, it kind of snugs up and is tight without even using these bolts. As soon as you take the tension off the jacking bolt, I mean, she's on there rock hard. We'll take a look and make sure everything's nice and flush, looking nice. And we'll get her back on the shelf and we'll take a closer look, see how everything looks installed. So there we have it, guys. My trusty Rock River with the Templar Customs Fast Rail installed. That is a good looking piece of kit. I really like that. I also like how it covers up the gas block. Just really clean looking. We're going to be doing some testing on this over the next few weeks. We have a couple shooting outings that we're going to be taking care of here pretty shortly. Some muzzle brakes we're going to be testing from a couple different manufacturers, Templar Custom included. But we wanted to get this rail on first, see how this performs. You know, really well made, guys. I dig it. Check them out, you know. There's a ton of videos out there. The guy Torture tests his stuff. So, you know, I'll let you check that out. But easy install, impressive. From an aesthetic standpoint, looks obviously way better than the Yankee Hill machine. I think the mount is a lot more sturdy. The way that this one mounts versus the counter pressure thread-on method. I think this is going to be much stronger. So, thanks for watching, guys.